Listen carefully, because this story might expose something inside you. You pray, you fast, you give charity, but deep down, you still feel distant from Allah. This is the story of a man who did everything right. He fasted, prayed, gave charity, and still felt lost. They said he never missed a prayer. They said he fasted every Monday and Thursday. They said he gave charity more than anyone in the entire city. Yet, he could not sleep. Every time he laid his head on the pillow, he felt like two hands were pulling his chest downward, suffocating him. Anxiety, worry, guilt, and fear swallowed him whole. One night, after Fajr, he locked himself in his room, slammed his hand on the desk, and cried, "Ya Allah, why do I feel so empty? When I am doing everything you commanded, why does my heart feel dead when my limbs are obeying you?" And that was the day his real journey began. Because that morning, Allah was about to show him that actions without sincerity are like a body without a soul. It looks alive, but it is already dead. His name was Zayd. To the outside world, Zayd was the perfect Muslim. People would greet him with, "Assalamu alayka ya akhi, wallahi your ibadah inspires us. Brother Zayd, you motivate us to pray more. May Allah bless you, you are one of the righteous." But no one knew the truth. No one knew that while his body moved, his heart was drowning. He prayed mechanically, fasted mechanically, gave charity mechanically, smiled mechanically. Every act of worship came out of habit, not out of life. He wasn't sinful, he wasn't rebellious, he wasn't negligent, he never drank alcohol, he never committed zina, he never stole, he never oppressed anyone. His sin was something people rarely talk about. He was simply empty. And emptiness is a silent destroyer. It eats a person from the inside while everyone else sees a good Muslim on the outside. Zayd kept asking himself, "I pray. Why am I still struggling? I fast. Why do I feel no peace? I help people. Why do I feel so alone? Is Allah angry with me? Am I failing Him without knowing?" These thoughts consumed him. One evening, Zayd walked home after Isha prayer. He passed a bakery near his house and smelled the warm scent of bread. And then he saw something. A small girl about 9 years old sitting on the floor outside the bakery, hugging her knees, staring at the door. Her clothes were dusty, her slippers were broken, her hair was tangled. Zayd had seen her before. She was the niece of a widow who lived in their neighborhood. He approached her and said, "Assalamu alayki, my daughter. Are you waiting for something?" She blinked rapidly, holding back tears. She said, "No, uncle, I'm just sitting." But Zayd had seen that look before, hunger pretending to be strength. He bought a fresh loaf of bread, walked to her and gave it to her. She stared at it as though it was gold. "Uncle, all of this is for me?" Zayd said, "Yes, my child." She took it gently, hugged it and whispered, "Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless you." Then she stood and ran toward home. Zayd walked away. But something strange happened. For the first time in months, he felt a tiny spark of peace. Not from a prayer, not from fasting, not from dhikr, but from the gratitude of a hungry child. He paused, he whispered, "Ya Allah, why did this small act enter my heart, while my 5 prayers did not?" And a voice from within responded, "Because this one you did for me alone." That night, Zayd could not sleep. His mind replayed the girl's gratitude. He felt more alive from one piece of bread than from all his rituals. Confused, he went to see an old scholar in their city, a man known for wisdom and softness of heart, Sheikh Umar. When Zayd entered, he broke down immediately. "Sheikh, I pray, but I feel nothing. I fast, but I feel nothing. I recite Quran, but I feel nothing. Sheikh, am I a hypocrite? Sheikh didn't rush. He let Zayd cry. Then he gently said, my son, the heart is like a farm. If you plant seeds but never water them, they will not grow. Your actions are seeds, but your sincerity is the water. Zayd wiped his tears. The Sheikh continued, you pray, but your mind is not present. You fast, but your tongue is not fasting. You recite Quran, but your heart is not listening. My son, Allah does not want the movement of your body. He wants the awakening of your soul. Zayd trembled. Then why did I feel peace when giving bread to that girl? The Sheikh smiled. Because that moment you weren't thinking about people. You weren't thinking about reward. You weren't thinking about image. You weren't thinking about status. You simply wanted to ease someone's hunger. And Allah placed peace in your heart because for once you acted with pure sincerity. The Sheikh then leaned closer and said, Zayd, there is a poison that enters the heart quietly. It's called riya, doing deeds for the eyes of people, or at least hoping for their praise. Zayd's eyes widened. Sheikh, do you think that's what's wrong with me? The Sheikh spoke softly. My son, listen carefully. When you pray because people expect it, when you fast so others say you are strong, when you smile so they think you are righteous, when you give charity so they call you generous, your body worships Allah, but your heart worships their opinion. Zayd felt stabbed. Every word was true. He wasn't showing off on purpose. He wasn't seeking applause. He wasn't a hypocrite. But he had fallen into something subtle. He had become dependent on people seeing his goodness. He worked for Allah, yes, but he also craved the feeling of being a good Muslim in the eyes of others. That craving is enough to steal peace. Good deeds become heavy. Worship becomes tiring. Dhikr becomes boring. Because the heart is split, half with Allah, half with the people, and a divided heart never finds rest. Zayd asked Sheikh, how do I fix this? How do I return to the sweetness of faith? The Sheikh replied, you must rebuild your heart the way a house is rebuilt, brick by brick. He gave him 5 steps. Damn one. Give charity secretly, pray in the night. Do something that no human ever hears about. This will cleanse your intention. 2. Pray fewer sunnah units if you must, but pray them with your whole heart. Not with memorized words, but with your real, raw, honest feelings. Then you cry to Allah and say, Ya Allah, purify my intention. The next morning, Zayd changed everything. He woke up before Fajr, not to show anyone, not to announce greatness. He simply whispered, Ya Allah, this is for you alone. He prayed 2 rak'at of tahajjud, quietly, slowly, gently. And for the first time in a long time, he tasted tranquility. Then he slipped out of his house and went to the widow's home. He left a bag of food at her door, knocked once and walked away before she could open. He didn't want praise. He didn't want recognition. He wanted only Allah to know. That day, something lifted inside his chest. The suffocation faded, the heaviness dissolved, the sadness loosened, the darkness cracked. Because sincerity is a light. And when it enters the heart even a little, it pushes out years of spiritual pain. 1 week later, Allah tested him. At the masjid, a man shouted loudly, Wallahi, brothers, Zayd gives so much charity. He helps the needy every day. The old Zayd would have smiled shyly, loving the praise while pretending he didn't. But this time, his heart sank. He stayed silent. He did not look up. He prayed that Allah hides his deeds again. That night he asked, Ya Allah, I don't want anyone to see me. Hide me from people. Make my goodness known only to you. And for the first time in his adult life, he cried in sujood. Not tears of guilt, not tears of fear, but tears of love. Love for Allah he didn't know he still had. One afternoon, as he was walking home, the little girl he once fed saw him. She ran to him and said, Uncle, I want to show you something. She opened her hand. Inside was a small paper heart she cut by herself. On it she wrote, a deed for Allah never dies. Zaid froze. Tears filled his eyes. My child, who taught you this? She smiled shyly. My mother, said the man who gives for Allah. Allah never forgets him. Zaid placed his hand over his chest. He finally understood. Worship is not about movement. Worship is not about image. Worship is not about appearing righteous. Worship is not about impressing people. Worship is not even about impressing yourself. True worship is about the heart that stands before Allah, naked, honest, trembling, and sincere. A single tear shed in secret is heavier than 1,000 public prayers. A single hidden charity is more beloved than mountains of gold given with pride. A single sujood made with sincerity can heal years of spiritual emptiness, and Allah never refuses the heart that returns to Him purely. If you feel empty despite worship, if you feel lost despite praying, if you feel numb despite fasting, don't assume Allah is far. Sometimes He is simply waiting for you to worship Him with your heart, not just your body.